How the Headhunter Has to Cope, a parable of questionable taste. Headhunter Charlie Soupbones is nonplussed. As it dawns on him what has happened, the hunter's heart rate accelerates and his blood pressure begins to climb. Surprise? Dismay? His muscles tense and energized to do something. At the same time, his mind chimes in, "How could you be so stupid? What were you thinking?" We've all had it, the subjective sense of being bothered, poisonous concoction of perception, sensation, and thought. It's the experience of bother itself which creates the necessity for what we must do to get rid of it. C-O-P-E, cope. The problem? It seems that anthropologist Frank Moorhead wandered into Charlie's patch the other day. According to local custom, this made Frank fair game. Though Charlie is anything but a sports hunter, he will not waste a bone of Frank's body. Charlie's quandary arises with the most important organ Frank donated to his program, the one that until quite recently perched on Frank's neck. See, Charlie got careless when tying on the rod for holding Frank's skull submerged. After evacuation and sealing, the skull became quite buoyant. No sooner had Charlie closed the lid on the shrinking pot than his prize floated to the surface, leaving one ear exposed and untreated. Frank was a good man, and Charlie did not keep him down. Culture may determine what we want and how badly, but reality makes sure that much of the time we don't get it. This leads to a universal human experience, frustration. Charlie wants a properly shrunk head and the status it will bring, especially with marriageable females. What he gets is a skull with one ear almost as big as the head to which it remains attached. The question we are trying to answer here is, how can Charlie deal with his frustration in a healthy way? An analogy from Western science may help us to frame the problem. Most of us learned about the 3 elements necessary for fire in grade school. You remember, oxygen, fuel, and kindling temperature. Take away one element, no matter which, out goes the fire. So what are 3 elements necessary for you or me or Charlie to feel the fire of frustration? First, ourselves. Chairs and spears and corpses do not get frustrated. People do. This has immediate implications for anyone looking to cope with frustration in a healthy way. We would never tell Charlie to eliminate himself just to get rid of his frustration. And the other 2 elements necessary for frustration to burn are, well, 1, the wanting of something, anything. 2, the block to getting that something. That's it. Every human being who has been bothered by anything has wanted something, and something else blocked them from getting it. Charlie is a human who wants what is left of Frank to rotate evenly from his waist. He wants the blushing admiration of young ladies who might raise little headhunters with him. And that stubborn ear, perfectly proportioned to Frank's head when it still rode above his shoulders, blocks what Charlie wants. Here, Charlie is at a distinct disadvantage to those of us frustrated by freeway traffic and slow downloads, not to mention all manner of civilized folk who so richly deserve to swing from his waist. He does not yet know the universal formula that will lead him out of the jungle of frustration. It was formulated at the turn of the last century by a Protestant minister. Alcoholics Anonymous adopted it in the 1930s. But you can still run into the formula almost anywhere. Office walls, the sports page, a book on assertiveness training. It's even showed up on TV shows like Baywatch and on Law and Order. The formula reads, quote, "God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference." That's it. No matter what is bothering me, my first job is to sort it into those 2 piles, the pile I do control and the pile I don't. In more secular language, life, reality, help me to stop wanting what I cannot have. to use what control I do have to get the things I can, and give me the common sense to tell them apart. The Serenity Prayer names the blessed event when we are freed from the torment of wanting what we cannot have. It is called acceptance. It also spells out the great dichotomy by which we can sort the elements of our frustration. Control versus don't control. With or without the formula, Charlie must look at that big dopey ear and that elegant little skull. He must face reality itself and ask it the first all-important question. What part of this problem is beyond my control? For instance, he cannot now change the fact he did not get it right on the first try. And the second question of the great dichotomy, what do I control here? What about changing that ear to get what he wants? If he shrinks the head again, will the ear shrink but not catch up with the rest of Frank's physiognomy? Will the color still be wrong? You and I cannot answer these questions. They are part neither of our culture nor our technology. What we do share with Charlie, no matter who or what is eating us, is the necessity to face the question of control. Do we or don't we? Do I control this broken shoelace or not? And what about the hole in the ozone layer? There are many tools to do the work of acceptance, to stop wanting what we cannot have. Likewise, for the tools to change things, to get what we want. You would not have gotten this far if you did not know at least some of them. But if you really understand the great dichotomy formulated so well by the Serenity Prayer, no problem need ever make you lose your head again. Unless, of course, you wander into Charlie's patch.